guys, welcome to the First Division preview show. This week we've only got 3 games, so it's not a lot of meat in this bone, guys, is there, to be fair? Cabinteely take on Cove Ramblers at Stradbrook, and this is a game, we've got 8 and 9 here. It's basically Cabinteely are in 22, Cove are in 19, Wexford are in 18. It's a battle to see who the best is of the bottom 3. How's it going to go, Philip?
Oh, jeez, Keith. Let's be honest. We're trying to be optimistic, but this game is going to be very poor, in my opinion.
It could be poor, Philip, but it could be one of those 3-all.
It could be a high-scoring game.
No one of them ones.
You can imagine, where everything is just so sloppy and the game is so open because both sides are piss poor, and look, I suppose it's a season for both clubs to forget, Keith, for their own reasons, and
who'll be more disappointed with the season, Philip, do you think, actually?
Cabinteely. Has to be Cabinteely. The progress they were making over the past couple of seasons, and now all of a sudden it's backwards. I personally think they have a massive off-season ahead of them in terms of getting the recruitment right and holding on to Owen Phillips, who I've spoken about many a time. I think he'd be crucial for them to even have a chance of getting into the playoffs next season, and look, Keith, this could go either way, it could go either way. I'm personally split down the middle, 2 of the lowest scoring sides in the division. I'm pretty sure it's the 10th and 9th worst scoring teams in the division.
Spot on.
So I'm going to go, do you know what? You put it into my head. I'm going to go 2-all. I'm going to go a high scoring draw because of very, very poor football. Cove are just a disaster. Cabo are just a disaster. And it'll make for a smashing game because if we was to say it was going to be 0-all, it would be 4-all. So I'm going to go 2-2.
What do you think, Freaker? I'm just looking at the table here. Cabinteely have had 1 draw all season in 24 matches, which is mental, really, but they've lost as many games as Wexford, who are bottom. They're a difficult team to judge because I don't know, the recruitment starting to see it's difficult because I don't know if they can get players in now. There was talk about takeovers and things like that. Kieran Marty Water's still there, but he seems to have had a quiet season at the club. Pat Devlin, obviously director and manager there as well. But they feel like a club, Cabinteely, are going through the motions a little bit, Faker, aren't they, to be honest?
Yeah, well, I think when you're where they are in the league, it's with no chance of relegation, there's nothing there. There's nothing to play for really at this stage of the season, is there? So, the boys aren't going to try. They're just going to try to get themselves through the next season and try to do something then. But so there's nothing on the line for this game really, apart from pride and just to see which team has the more pride really, or wants the more pride. But I can't see anything other than probably a draw in this game. Really boring. As you say, it could be really crap football and high scoring game, or
with the game of the weekend, boys.
Oh yeah, it's much
tends to happen down here, doesn't it? It does tend to happen here when we say something that doesn't happen. It's the
how many times have we said this has the look of a 0-all draw and it ends up, or vice versa, yourself. But it's strange. You two go for a draw. You know me, I'm the draw man around here, and I'm actually not going for a draw. I'm going for Cove. I think they might actually win this. I think but I think Cove have obviously struggled badly in the last few weeks as well, but there's something about me that tells me there's still more motivation in the Cove players. I don't know why, but I just think there is. And I think they might turn Cabinteely over in this fixture at Stradbrook. Cabinteely's home form is actually dreadful. I think it's the worst in the league as well. Cork City take on Wexford FC at Turner's Cross. And Cork obviously 7th in the league at 27 points. Wexford bottom at 18. But Wexford have actually been in flying form. They're one of the form teams in the league as well. They've actually won their last 3 games, which is hard to believe considering they've won 5 all season to win their last 3 games. So they'll go to Cork with a bit of confidence, and we're kind of giving out about Cabinteely and Cove's season and kind of, I wouldn't say waxing lyrical about Wexford, but you can see, Philip, that Wexford, there's a sense that they're going in a better direction than the other 2 clubs. How do you see this fixture?
Yeah, you're spot on. You've hit the nail on the head, Keith. It's both their both seasons have completely, Wexford's season has completely switched on what it was and how it was going. And they made, let's remind ourselves, Keith, they made a change halfway through the season. Well, not halfway, but
Ian Ryan came in,
Yeah, and it's been a very successful move so far. This far it's been very good. And you have to say that you said they're one of the form teams in the league. They'd fancy themselves against anyone at the moment, And I've mentioned it there a few weeks ago about you mentioned it earlier in the season about a young side winning games. You can see the confidence and even the brand of football that Wexford are playing at the moment. It's been much, much better. Obviously
that's the thing, Philip. They do encourage the players to play football, which is great to see. Even when they're struggling, that's what they do. Yeah. They continue to do that. So, as we said before, they are giving the players a platform to go out and express themselves. Which is, if you're a team that's struggling, at least do that. I would suggest.
Yeah, they do that, and look, they've not been a team to go and park 10 lads behind the ball. They just don't like to do that, and I think that's probably killed them at times during the season. But you stick to your guns, you stick to what you're good at, and eventually it'll come good. And essentially, it has here. Look, I suppose that's for Cork after last weekend. Jesus, I feel bad. One of the lads that plays for the football team went to the game, and we were training last night, and I was about 50 yards away. I just kicked the ball, and he was looking directly at me, and I thought to myself, "Oh, surely he sees it." So I didn't call heads, and I kicked it. I'm not joking. I nearly knocked him out cold, caught him straight in the face. I walked up to him and I says, "I hope you don't remember the game the weekend, because Jesus Christ, it was absolutely dreadful." I know, look, I just think Cork need to get over the line now and finish the season off and just draw a blank. They have been better, but it's been a real season to forget for Cork, Keith. I think we can all agree on that. I think minimum they were expecting the playoffs. And that early form in the year has absolutely murdered them and cost them. And I think they need to get rid of a couple of lads in the club that haven't stepped up at all this season in the first division, which you probably would have expected. And as you've mentioned a couple of times, the senior heads have let them down. So I think it's a big season for them as well in terms of recruitment. We all know how big a side Cork are. FICRA knows how big of a club they are as well, over the fantastic battles we had throughout the years between them and Dundalk in those finals. And again, you'd like to think they could get back into some sort of way and getting into the league and being competitive, but they look a million miles away from that at the moment, Keith, if I'm being completely honest with you.
Did you back them to beat Wexford at home?
No. I fancy Wexford. I'm actually going to go 3-0. I think Wexford are flying at the minute. Yeah, and I know that they score, but they don't tend to score tons of goals. But I just think Cork are done now. I think the lads have packed up and they're on their holidays, to be honest with you.
I think it might be their last home game or near enough for Cork City. I think Wexford might hit a little stumbling block here. As soon as you start to give someone credit, I find they lose the next week. So I'll go for Cork to win this. But FICRA, Philip was talking there how Cork kind of improved in the latter stages of the season. But in a way, that's embarrassing because they've won 6 games out of 24 all season, and we're saying they've improved. It just shows how bad they've been overall. 6 games out of 24 they've won all season. Cork City.
Yeah.
When you think about it.
All, is it? Considering where they were, how long ago, 3-4 years ago, they've fallen so far away down, and I just can't see it. Can't see them doing anything. As Philip said, they're done. They're on their holidays. And I can see Wexford just winning this one 2-0 myself. The form Wexford are showing now, they're, as I said earlier, they are playing for pride now. They don't want to finish bottom, and they're going to push and do whatever they can to climb up that table. I know it might only be one spot, but just so much sheer confidence, and they're a young enough side, and going into next season, then that'll be a lot to build on, showing that they can finish strong. So then they can hopefully then for themselves they can start strong next season and just can push on. I'd say that's what something like that would be what the manager will be saying to the boys. So I think it's going to be very hard for Cork to deal with them.
So 2 for Wexford, 1 for Cork. That's interesting. Shelburne finally take on Athlone Town at Tolka Park. And obviously Shelburne wrapped up the championship last week, 1 defeat all season, 47 goals scored, 19 against, the best defensive record in the league. Athlone are 6 points behind Bray, Philip. And I know the league is wrapped up. Do you think Athlone might fancy themselves here at Tolka Park? Or do you think Shelburne, they're a bit of a machine, and even though they've the league wrapped up, they'll want to finish the season high regardless.
I'll be completely honest with you, Keith. I think even if the lads went out the night before the game on the piss, I still think Shells will beat them. I really do. I don't see Athlone even getting close. I think it's going to finish the way it is. I think the 6-point gap will probably still be there come the end of the season. I'd fancy the Shells lads to go out on a steamer on the night before and still get a result against them. That's how poor I've rated Athlone this season. I did see them live once and I thought they were okay and done well, but you think it's something to build on. A result against Cabinteely, who at the time weren't doing as poorly as they have been this year, and you thought it was something they could build on, but they just haven't been able to get going this season, and they've kind of staggered through it in phases. And I just think that they need to. I don't think they're there. I don't think they're on the beach, but I think after this game they will be. I think they'll be going to the game saying, "Look, these lads are going to take their eye off the ball, the Shells lads, that is, and we can get something here." But again, I just think the quality of Shelbourne, I think they've been a Premier League division team playing in the first division all season, beaten once, and let's be honest, Keith, no one's really landed a blow, or even close to landing a blow on them. Bar the game they lost, and I thought they were unlucky to lose the game as well. They had plenty of chances. I'm gonna go for Shells. I'm not going to say it's going to be comfortable. I think it might be a 1-0. I think there'll be some lads still probably sweating off the beer from the promotion party. So they'll want to finish, as you said, in style, and I wouldn't write them out from doing that. But I think they'll just nick it here.
Yeah, I think Fikra, from Athlone's point of view, they'll be hoping that, I suppose, they rest pretty much Shelbourne, all their players that have been playing the last few weeks. And yourself, Shelbourne have a good bench, but at the same time, if you make 7-8 changes, it can make a big difference to cohesion and things like that. And you feel that Athlone have to go there and think, if that does happen, look, we have to come away with the 3 points here.
Yeah, I'd like to think Athlone could do it. Just give a bit of more interest into the league, but I can't see anything other than a Shelbourne win myself. As Philip says, they're a machine. They're just going to they're ploughing through that league. And I think next season they're not even going to struggle to stay up in the first division, in the Premier League. I think they're going to be comfortable enough if they keep that squad. So I can't see Athlone putting up much of a fight. I hope they do, and I hope I'm wrong, but I could see probably just a 1-0 Shelbourne. I said they'll get themselves ahead, and then the headaches will start hitting in from the hangovers, and they'll decide to sit back and just play for the 1-0.
Yeah, I think that's the point of Shelbourne as well, though. Even when they're not at their best this season, they've been very resolute and very strong defensively. So, Athlone probably have to do something special to win the game. I think they might get a draw at Athlone, to be honest with you, because I do think Shelbourne will make a lot of changes, in my view. And that might play into cohesion a little bit. But a draw isn't enough for Athlone anyway. But I'd like to see them win just to kind of put a bit of pressure on Bray, potentially. But I don't think so. I'll go with a draw. Right, guys, thanks for watching. Subscribe if you're new, hit your bell notification button, and thanks again, Philip. Thanks again, Fikra. Brilliant stuff.
Thanks, Keith.
Ole, 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 ole.